Welcome back to Summit Valley Sports. I'm your host, Jonesy. As always, we got the UFC Belgrade this week, the debut of UFC in Serbia. The matchmakers did a fantastic job this week, and there's a full card this week, 14 fights. So before we get into the prediction video, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, share. Really helps out the algorithm and business. Also, I'll leave a link in the description down below if you guys are interested in the two shirt designs, or you guys can DM me as always. But yeah, let's get straight into the fights. We got a full card, like I said. All right, for the first fight, we got Marina Spisac versus Stephanie Luciano. I like Stephanie Luciano in this fight. I think her kickboxing is fantastic. I love her movement. She fights like Natalia Silva, which is one of my favorite female fighters to begin with already. So, yeah, I love her movement around the cage. I love how quick she is, and she's getting better and better each fight. Um, I think Luciano's gonna pick her apart in the striking department. She's just gonna have to watch out for Marina's takedowns and her pressure fighting. I watched Marina's last few fights. I liked what I saw, but I don't think it's gonna be enough for Luciano. Luciano's already been in the UFC. She has that UFC experience. She's fought some UFC vets already. So yeah, give me Luciano for the first fight. All right, for the second fight, we got Jovan Leka versus Alexander Popek. Give me Jovan. I think he's gonna use his wrestling, and I've seen that Alexander used to fight in light heavyweight, and he's making his heavyweight debut in the UFC, which I don't think is gonna be too good for him. I know he's probably gonna think he's gonna be light on the feet against Leka, who's gonna be very top heavy, but I think Leka is gonna use that wrestling and get Popek down and probably use some ground and pound. Leka's very, very dominant on top. So give me Leka for the second fight. Sorry about my voice, too. I'm getting over a little bit of sickness. All right, moving on. We got Nina Milosevic versus Haley Cowan. And I was going back and forth with this fight. Haley Cowan's going to have a huge reach advantage, or maybe not reach advantage, but size advantage is what I'm trying to say. I could see her pressuring Nina against the fence and kind of holding her against the fence the entire fight. But at the end of it, I watched a ton of Nina fights. I think Nina's going to eventually get Haley Cowan down to the ground and possibly find the finish in her debut. I'm gonna say decision though. I think Nina gets the decision win. So give me Nina Milosevic. All right, moving on. We're moving on quickly too. Oh, I love this fight. All right, we got Mateus Rebecki versus Kyle Prepelik. Give me Mateus Rebecki. I love this dude's fights. I mean, who doesn't? If anyone hasn't seen the Mateus Rebecki versus Miktabek Orolbai, I know I just sneezed right there. Excuse me. Yeah, Rebecki versus Orolbai. Those names are crazy. That's what I was trying to joke. But Rebecki versus Orolbai was absolutely crazy fight. If you guys haven't seen that, go watch that. One of the best UFC fights I think I've seen in a while. But yeah, give me Rebecki in this fight for this weekend. I think he gets back in the win column. I love his boxing. This dude just brings violence to every single fight he fights in. So yeah, give me Rebecki. All right, moving on. Oh, this is a banger. All right, we got Bogdan Grad versus Denis Bazukia. Give me Grad in this fight. I think he uses his wrestling, and I don't know if you guys just seen. He has a whole new hairstyle, whole new look. Basically, he looks like an Australian. It's funny. Um, where is he fighting out of? Let's see. Actually, that'd be funny. He's Romanian. Okay. All right. Let's see. But yeah, sorry about that. I had to look that up. All right, give me Bogdan Grad though in this fight. I think he uses his striking a little bit to pressure Denis Bazukia. Denis Bazukia, I know he trains with Aljamain Sterling and all those Jersey boys like Marab and all them. But Yeah, give me Bogdan Grad in this fight. I think he uses his wrestling, or first his striking, and then he starts to wrestle and pressure Bazookia in this fight. So give me Grad in this fight. All right. Kind of went back and forth on the last two fights. Sorry about that. All right, moving on. All right, we got Mark Vlogden versus Borislav Nikolic. Give me Nikolic. This guy's very, very big for the division. I think Vlogden. I think he needs to go down in the division. He's 5'3" at 135 pounds. I think he needs to go down to flyweight possibly if he could get there. I know it's another weight cut, but I just don't think he's in the right weight class, to be honest. Borislav is very, very big for this weight class already. So for him to be fighting the smallest guy in the division, you guys are gonna see that this weekend. So um, I was kind of going back and forth. I was wondering if Mark Vlogden was gonna be able to get the wrestling going, because Borislav is not the best against the wrestling. His takedown defense is actually below average in my opinion. Um, but I think Borislav is gonna use that distance. Use that distance. He has such a size advantage and such a big size advantage in this fight, and I think he's gonna use the reach advantage, and I think he's gonna move around the cage a lot. So if I'm Borislav, if I'm on that side, definitely use the movement a lot and use your size to your advantage against Vlogden, because Vlogden he still has decent wrestling and he has very good boxing. So sorry about that. Yeah, give me Borislav in this fight. All right, moving on. Oh, I love this fight. I love it. All right, if you guys catch this fight for sure, do not miss this fight. We got Michael Oliveira versus Oban Elliott. Give me Oban Elliott to pull off the upset. I love Oban Elliott's fighting style. I think he's kind of fought the who's the or not the who's who. He's fought the top prospects in the division the last few fights. And Michael Oliveira, he hits very hard, but I did not like his cardio in his contender series. He was gassing out like crazy, and that guy he was fighting on the contender series, he was mostly a defensive fighter. That's not Oban Elliott. Oban Elliott's going to get those takedowns. He's going to mix in his kickboxing, mix in those leg kicks, and I think he's going to get Michael Oliveira on his back, and I think Oban Elliott gets the upset. So give me Oban Elliott in this fight. All right, moving on. We got Ludovic Klein versus Tofik Musayev. I got Ludovic Klein in this fight. I think I really, really like Ludovic Klein's fighting style. I know I just said that against Oban Elliott, but I really like Ludovic Klein's fighting style. This dude does not miss in any of his fights. I love all his fights. Tafiki just had a huge upset against Ignacio Bahamundes, which we'll talk about him in a little bit at the end of the video. But yeah, I got Ludovic Klein in this fight. I think he uses his striking, and I think he avoids the takedowns from Tafiki. I think Tafiki's really dependent on the takedowns, and I think Ludovic Klein's very good at not getting controlled. So give me Ludovic Klein for this fight. Sorry about the voice again. I'm sure it's a little annoying. All right, we got Milos Jancic versus Noah Gwinin, Ginan or whatever. Sorry if I'm butchering these names. Let me Noah Ginan. Give me Milos Jancic in this fight. I think Milos hits like a truck. I watched the last three fights of his. He hits like a truck. I'm not sure about the cardio, and again, this dude does not have the best takedown defense. So if Noah could get him down, that would be his huge possible way of winning for Noah. But yeah, if I think Milos hits him, I think he cracks him. I think he's gonna crack Noah. I don't think Noah is that good at the striking department, in my opinion. He's just a dog. He has that dog in him. He could get hit and keep coming forward. He has decent jujitsu and wrestling, uh, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Milos. So give me Milos Jančić in this fight, and possibly for a knockout. Moving on. A lot of these fighters are making their debuts. I love it. All right, we got Vlastro, uh, Kepo or Sipo versus Gilbert Urbina. Give me Velastro. This dude hits so crazy. And I love his. I think his fighting style is very fun. I think he's gonna have such a fun fight this weekend against Gilbert Urbina. Urbina. Gilbert Urbina is actually coming up in weight. He used to fight at welterweight at 170, and he's coming up for this weekend at 185. So it's his debut at the middleweight division, and Velastro's gonna welcome him to the new division. So give me Velastro in this fight. All right, moving on. Ooh, this is a good fight. We got Dusko Todorovic versus Robert Valentin. Give me the dog. Give me Dusko Todorovic. I think he gets the wrestling done, and I think he uses that size advantage. I think he's going to have a little size advantage against Robert Valentin, and I think he uses it, and I think he uses his wrestling to get the win. I could see him getting a decision win, to be honest. His striking's decent, but I don't think he's gonna want to strike with Robert Valentin the whole fight. Robert Valentin has those nasty elbows. Um, uh, but yeah, I think Dusko gets it done. I think he gets in the win column and keeps a little win streak. Gets it done in his hometown. He fights out of Belgrade, so that's gonna be pretty cool. All right, moving on. Sorry if I'm not talking too much about the fights. We got Marcin Tybura versus Alexander Rakic, making his heavyweight debut. Okay, uh, give me Alexander Rakic. I think he gets it done. I really like his kickboxing. Tybura, he's just a fence grappler. He likes to pressure his opponent against the fence, and he has a decent left, but I think that's about it to his fighting style. He's also up there in age. He's let me see. He's 40 years old. I know that's not too much. You could be a little older in the heavyweight division because you're not cutting so much weight, but I think that just the shots, those heavy shots, eventually get to you. So give me Alexander Rakic. He's already a big guy. I think he's gonna naturally develop into this heavyweight division, and he could possibly make a little streak going. So give me Rakic this weekend. All right, moving on for the co-main event. We got Jan Blachowicz versus Navajo Sterling. Give me Navajo Sterling. Uh, Jan just, I mean, there's tons of things I got to say about this fight. Jan, he just backed out against his fight against Guskov a few months ago because he tore his meniscus. And not even 2 months later, he's coming back to fight Navajo Sterling, a younger, more hungrier fighter who's making a revengeance fight against his best friend, Israel Adesanya. Tell me that's not making sense. I'm so confident on Navajo Sterling this weekend. I think he could possibly knock out Jan this weekend and keep his knockout streak and keep it going to 3. Um, I really like Navajo Sterling, his kickboxing, and I think he's gonna keep those leg kicks going all fight. Yeah, it might be a death by 1,000 cuts type of fight. He might not be rushing for the early knockout, but he might be hunting for it in those later rounds, the later in the second or getting towards the third round. So, give me Navajo Sterling confidently in this fight. I think he gets the revenge for his best friends, Israel Adesanya. Because whenever Israel Adesanya moved up to light heavyweight division, he fought Jan, and Jan just kept taking him down, taking him down, and I really wanted Izzy to get that fight. That would have been so amazing. Because if he would have won that fight, he would have fought John Jones possibly. That was a little test for Izzy in the UFC. So, um, but yeah. Anyways, give me Navajo Sterling. I think he gets the revengeance win for his friend. All right, moving on. We got the main event. The main event, Mr. Serbia himself. We got Euros Medic versus Daniel Rodriguez, D-Rod, versus the Doctor. Give me the Doctor in this fight. I don't think D-Rod's going to be able to take the shots from Medic for too long. I know this is a five-round fight, and Medic has not gone out of the first round. And let's see. Da, 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 da. Sorry about that. Round one. Yeah. Everything round one. Everything round one finish. Give me Medic. Give me him by finish. I don't think he's going to be able to get round one finish. I think he's going to take his time and kind of respect D-Rod. D-Rod's on a little win streak himself. He's up there in age, though. D-Rod's 39 years old. Wow. That's pretty old for the welterweight division. I'm not going to lie. But he's on a 3-fight win streak. He beat Alex Moreno, Santiago Ponzinibbio, and Kevin Holland. I know those three names aren't like the biggest names in the division, but hey, it's a 3-fight win streak, especially for D-Rod, for someone that age. And it's cool to see D-Rod in the main event. But yeah, give me Euros Medic in this fight. I think confidently too. I think he gets it done for his country in front of his hometown crowd and puts on a clinic, actually, to be honest. All right. As always, it's the end of the video, so I'll go over all my picks, and then I'll pick. Well, actually, let me pick the knockout alert of the week, and let me pick out the banger alert of the week. Let's see. All right, knockout alert of the week is going to be the Velastro Siepo versus Gilbert Urbina. I think no matter what, that fight ends in a knockout, no matter who wins. But yeah, that's going to be the knockout alert of the week. Let's see. And then the banger alert of the week. Ooh. I think it's going to be the Milos Jancic versus Noah Ginan fight. I think that's going to be the banger alert of the week. I really like that fight, actually. Both fighters making their debut, and both fighters can crack. So, yeah, that's going to be the banger alert of the week. Milos Jancic versus Noah Guinan. And then the knockout alert of the week. So back to back on the fight order. Knockout alert of the week is Velastro Siepo versus Gilbert Urbina. And again, it's the end of the video, so I'll go over all my picks. I got Stephanie Luciano for the first fight. I got Jovan Leka. I got Nina Milosevic. I got Mateus Rebecki. I got Bogdan Grad. I got Borislav Nikolic. I got Oban Elliott. I got Ludovic Klein. I got Milos Jancic. I got Velastro Siepo. I got Dusko Todorovic. I got Alexander Rakic. I got Navajo Sterling. And I got Euros Medic for the main event. All right, that is UFC Belgrade. Absolutely fire card. Matchmakers did fantastic job. Thank you, UFC, for always putting on such a fantastic event every weekend. And I just bought my tickets for UFC Noche, so I'll see you guys there. Ooh, I cannot wait for UFC Noche. I think there's 4 or 5 more fights about to be announced, but I cannot wait to see my girl live. Manon Fiorot beat Alexa Grasso. Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Hope to see some of you there, and I can't wait for UFC Noche. I'm getting hyped right now. Oh, I wish I didn't sound so sick. I'll see you guys Friday I'll see you guys Sunday for the reaction video. Sorry I did not put a podcast video out on Monday. As you can tell, I'm like still feeling it a little bit. You can hear it in my voice, but I'm doing good. Can't wait to start producing all this content for you guys. All right. See you guys later. Hope you guys have a fantastic week. Have a fantastic fight weekend and stay safe. Stay blessed. Peace.